finished from University of Aberdeen. He's now also a lecturer. He's one of the go-to person in Aberdeen. At least in my presence, he has given talk in Business Gateway, Data Lab, one of the leading support system in Aberdeen. He's actually a resource person. So he has given talk also in Society of Engineers in Glasgow. So he's not collecting money from us. It's just a real privilege that we're having him. So in the language of us, let's tap all what we can tap. Let's ask. No question is too basic. No question is too applied. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, sir. Sir, you are muted, sir.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, Shegu, for those wonderful comments. All right, so I'm Pascal Ezenkwu. I'm a lecturer in business analytics, School of Creative and Cultural Business at Robert Gordon University, UK. So we are talking about demystifying the path to becoming a data professional. My job in this presentation will be to simplify the career path towards becoming a data professional. Okay, and for those who are already data professionals, this talk will enable them to see areas they can expand their scope as well as retain their relevance in the field. The data field is quite dynamic. You can wake up tomorrow morning and you hear that a new technology has been invented, and people that master this technology, their level of relevance we go up. While those that have not mastered it, their level of relevance will come down. So the data field is quite a dynamic field. Okay, so in the course of this talk, we first of all want to talk about why someone may want to become a data professional. So the motivation behind it. Then we'll go ahead to explore the data landscape, right? Data professions landscape. Then we talk about the essential skills. What are those skills that when you have them, you can confidently call yourself a data professional? Then we talk about different routes towards learning these essential skills. And then we'll highlight the importance of practical experience as a data professional. And then we'll make the conclusion of the talk. All right, so what you are seeing here is, I hope you are seeing my slide, right? Let me be sure I'm not talking to myself.
Yes, I can see it. Others, can you see it?
Yes, we can.
All
yes,
right,
I can.
Perfect. Cool.
Yes,
okay, so
we can.
Thank you very much. So what we are seeing here is a chart that represents the global data generated every year. So the amount of data we generate globally every year. And in 2023, it has been estimated that the amount of data we generate is up to 120 zettabytes. And this is expected to increase to about 181 zettabytes by 2025, which is over 150% increase. I thought about how to best explain what a zettabyte means, and I decided to ask AI. So I asked Pi AI, which is an equivalent, it's a conversational AI similar to what we have in ChatGPT. I asked it, how can I explain a zettabyte to a 5-year-old child? It doesn't mean that the listeners here are 5-year-old, but I needed to see something, get something that is well simplified that we all can relate to. So it gave me 3 analogies, but I think I like the first one. The first analogy here is it says that it is like filling a whole city with books, enough to keep you reading for thousands of years. This is actually an underestimation of how big a zettabyte is, but it gives us a clue of how big it could be. All right, so imagine the city where you live. If you live in Aberdeen, city like me, imagine piling up books within Aberdeen city such that it will take you thousands of years to read it. That is the analogy I gave to a 5-year-old child about what a zettabyte means. I remember you're talking about 1 zettabyte. But we are saying that in 2023, 3 alone, that we are seeing up to 120 zettabytes. That is like piling up this amount of books that we take up thousands of years to read in 120 cities. That gives insight about how humongous the amount of data we generate is. Where is this data coming out? Where does this data come out from? Where do we get this data from? We contribute to this data when we use social media. When we use things like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. When we make comments, we share posts, we like comments, we react to comments in one way or the other, we contribute to this data. For example, Facebook alone has been reported to generate about 4 petabytes of data per day. Every day, every 24 hours, Facebook generates 4 petabytes of data. So a petabyte is equivalent to is millions of gigabytes. So if you know what a gigabyte means, you can use that to estimate what 4 petabytes can be. We also contribute to this data when we provide reviews. After online shopping, you decided to write about the product you purchased, or you provide star ratings to that product. You contribute to this data as well. When you use your mobile phones when we use our mobile phones to engage with one another, we contribute to this data. When you wear wearable sensors like Fitbit to record your physiological measurements, you also contribute to this astronomical amount of data we have every year. When businesses design surveys to collect data from their customers for the purpose of market research, they contribute to this data. When businesses record their customers' data in order to track their purchase patterns, for example, you go to Tesco to buy groceries, and they want to keep track of your purchase pattern, so they record your data. Okay, in that case, that is contribution to this data. Then when you use your phones to as GPS to monitor your locations or to track where you want to go or identify your location or where you want to head to, you contribute to this data. When you use web search engines, you also contribute to this data. So there are many ways we contribute to this astronomical amount of data we see every year. And that has given rise to the concept of big data. So big data highlights the challenges that are associated with you storing this data, processing them, and extracting values from them. So we have what we call 5 V's of big data. The first V is is called volume. Volume talks about how humongous this data is. And that poses a challenge of storage. We also have velocity. If you go on Twitter and you look at the trending topic, after a few minutes, you discover that this trending topic has changed. Today, you see a very dark man trending. After some time, it is no longer very dark man, it's someone else. So these topics change in a very frequent manner. And businesses want to keep track of this frequency, this high frequency of changes, so that they can use that to get values that will improve their productivity and efficiency. And we also have variety. When we talk about variety, we talk about different forms in which data exists. The first form is, it could be in form of text, it could be in form of numbers, it could be in form of geospatial information, it could be in form of images. But in whatever forms that data exists, businesses are interested in extracting values from this data. Then we talk about veracity. Veracity talks about the validity of the data that are being produced in the global space, for example, social media, news platforms. Some of these data are not valid. Some can be deceitful. Some are not complete. Some don't contain what it takes for analytics. How do you identify the validity of the data? Then value is the most important aspect of them all. No matter the shape of the data, how voluminous it is, the speed of the data, the veracity of the data, the bottom line is, can businesses extract values from this data? And that is where a data professional comes in. The job of a data professional is to contribute to helping any business to extract values from data. A man called Geoffrey Moore, who is an American management consultant and author, said that without big data analytics, companies are blind and deaf, wandering out onto the web like deer on a freeway. So you see that blindness has to do with sight, deafness has to do with hearing. So these are sense organs, okay, eyes and the ear. So they are sense organs. And what sense organs help us to do is to monitor our environment, to sense what happens within our environment. So any business that does not have big data analytics capability does not have the capability to monitor the business ecosystem. So that lays emphasis on how important big data analytics is. And another quote I like a lot is from Craig Mundy, who is a senior advisor to the CEO at Microsoft. So he said that data is becoming the new raw material of business. So raw materials are used for production, okay, to deliver products. So businesses that don't have the ability to leverage data will lack that raw material to compete in today's business landscape. And because of these, businesses have understood the importance of data skills. And that has resulted to data skills, demand on data skills or data professionals to increase. Now, a man called Justin Foster says that data skills are mission critical. So when we say that a factor is mission critical for a business, that means that the success of that business depends strongly on that factor. If the factor is not achieved or is not there, the business may not be able to function well. And this underscores how important data skills is. Royal Society UK did presented this map, and they showed how data skills demand is increasing in the UK. So what they showed is that between 2013 to 2018, demand for data professionals increased by 231% for the whole of UK. And when you want to look at it from regional perspective, only in Northern Ireland, they had over 560% increase in the demand for data professionals. And that is just in one region. So, and this can be generalized to other places, including the US, including Canada, including in Africa, Nigeria as well. And someone may say that this is just 2018, it's a long time ago. A more recent data is from the UK government. And in 2021, they reported that there were between 178,000 to 234,000 roles in UK companies that required data skills. And out of these companies that require data skills, 46% of them struggled to get individuals that will fill in those roles. And what this highlights is the high demand for data professionals. And this could motivate you to think about getting involved in the data landscape. All right. So what is a data professional? Data Kick Analytics published a definition I think I like a lot. They say that data professionals have experience in areas like data collection, storage, management, analysis, interpretation, and visualization. Now, these are activities that help to convert data from its raw form to business value. So anyone that can make this contribution, either you specialize in data collection, or you specialize in storage, data storage, management, or any of these aspects, you can be referred to as a data professional. So I decided to define it in this way. A data professional is anyone who has a role to play in the data value chain. We're going to talk about what we mean by data value chain. So if you are capable of contributing to the process of converting data from its raw form to business value, you can call yourself a data professional. All right. So let us talk about that data value chain. Data value chain can also be called data process model. Some people may call it data workflow. Some may call it data pipeline. Some may call it data lifecycle. Whatever you choose to call it, the definition is that it involves the process of collecting raw data, processing it, storing it, analyzing it, interpreting it for business value. That process of doing all this in order to achieve value for a business is what we call the data value chain. All right. And I choose to explain it using this popular one we call the CRISP-DM, Cross-Industry Standard Process for Data Mining. At the center of CRISP-DM, we have data. All right. So what we have at the center there is data. So which means that it's assumed that someone has done the work, the hard work of collecting this data and storing it effectively. Now, it begins with business understanding. And what it means is someone has to understand what the business questions that this data needs to answer are. Someone has to identify it. What kind of question does this business want to answer? So those business requirements involve understanding the factors of business factors, understanding what the stakeholders that have collected this data or enabled the collection of this data, what they need to hear. Then the next step is data understanding. What are the attributes of the data that could make you answer those questions? Is the data complete enough? Does it have all the ingredients and attributes that will respond to the business need? The next thing is data preparation. Data preparation has to do with cleaning data. We talked about the 5 V's of big data. And one of the things we mentioned is the veracity of data. Data can be incomplete. It can contain redundant information, things we don't actually need. It can contain noise. It can contain values. Values could be missing in them. So the process of getting the raw data that is invalid and making them valid enough for analytics is what we call data preparation. And someone may have the skill to do it. Then we talk about modeling, which is the process of applying machine learning, statistics, artificial intelligence in interpreting what is contained in that data. And that process is the most important process when it comes to extracting value from data for the business. Then the next thing is evaluation. Interpreting or explaining whatever the outcome of the analytics process or modeling process is, interpreting it in the context of the business question. That is why the evaluation stage goes back to the business understanding. Has it responded to what the business needed to hear? Then we have deployment, and that is where visualization, plotting graphs, or developing a dashboard that can be published for the stakeholders to exploit the entire process or the outcome of the process. So this is an example of data value chain. And if you can find yourself playing a role in this data value chain, you can call yourself a data professional. You may specialize in the process of collecting this data. You may specialize in the process of interpreting the business questions in the context of data analytics. You may specialize in the process of data preparation or modeling or deployment. Whatever role you can play on data value chain makes you a data professional. And let us quickly see the values businesses can derive from data. One of such values is they can conduct what is called predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is when you use the data you have to synthesize the knowledge you do not have. You use the data you have to synthesize the knowledge that is not explicitly contained in that data. For example, a business can use the purchase behaviors of their customers to tell the customer that may stop being their customer or not. That is called churn prediction. To predict the customer that may leave the business or not. That is called churn prediction. All right. So we also have what we call market basket analysis. Anytime you go to a supermarket to buy groceries, after putting the items you needed in your basket, all the items, you now take them to the till to pay. The items that you buy together, they are referred to as, in market analytics, they are referred to as a basket. And businesses need to understand association between items. It helps them to make recommendations, especially online shops. That is why when if you have used Amazon before, you buy a handset, the next thing they recommend to you, you could need a headset, because they've identified that people that buy handsets, majority of people that buy handset always buy headsets. So they make recommendation. That is what is called item collaborative filtering, because they are able to use association between items to make recommendation to people, their customers, on the online shop. All right. So the process of achieving this association between items is what we call market basket analysis. Okay. Then we also have sentiment analysis and opinion mining. Sentiment analysis and opinion mining helps businesses to understand how well the customers have accepted a product. You go to Amazon after purchasing a particular product and you write a review about that product. Businesses may not have the time, especially like Amazon that have a lot of customers. They may not have the time to sit down and read all the comments people or review people have written. What they may do is to develop an analytics procedure that will extract all those comments, summarize them, and know what is the general sentiment of the customers about that product. Okay, so that is called sentiment analysis or opinion mining. All right, we also have customer segmentation. Businesses may decide to throw their customers' data into an analytics procedure that will put them in different categories. These are what we call clusters. This category can be based on their geographical location. It can be based on their occupation. It can be based on their gender. It can be based on some implicit attributes that are not even clear in the data you collected. But what are they going to use this for? They use it to design market programs that suit different segments, customer segments. All right, so that is what we call customer segmentations. So segmentation. These are a few of them. There are many other values businesses can derive from data. Okay, so what are the different data professionals? We've defined a data professional as anyone that can play a role in the data value chain. You can contribute in data collection. You can contribute in data analytics. You can contribute in dashboard development. You can then call yourself a data professional. And what are those data professionals? We could have data scientists, data analysts, data engineer, business analyst. These are just few of them. There could also be data manager. There could be data security expert. There could be chief data officer. So there are many of them, but because of time, we are going to specialize or focus on these four, okay, because of time. And these four are always the starting point for many. And that is why we are going to specialize on these four. All right, so data scientist. The data scientist is the most skilled person amongst the data professionals. So when you talk about data professionals, the data scientist is supposed to be very good in mathematics. In fact, you have to be a mathematics wizard. No mathematics, linear algebra, probability, calculus, and all that. Because what they do is that they have the knowledge to develop machine learning algorithms and statistical methods that we uncover insight from data. So they need to have good programming skill and have good mathematical skills. So that's why when some people tell me they want to become data scientists, I first ask you, what is your background? What is your flair when it comes to mathematics and programming? Are there things you do very easily? Okay, so that helps me to advise you on the path to take. Now we have the data analyst. Data analyst does not need to be a mathematics wizard or a programming wizard. Okay, they only need to understand how to use important tools for analytics and visualization. We are going to delve deep into these skills at a later time in this presentation. We also have the data engineer. The data engineer has the understanding of how to build the infrastructure that collects the data, stores the data, prepares the data for analytics. That is the data engineer. So we are going to talk about the range of skills that are needed in this particular profession. We also have the business analyst. The business analyst is a data analyst that has business acumen. So they have the ability to interpret results from data analytics from the perspective of the business. Their emphasis is on business understanding. So they are similar to data analysts. They make use of the tools the data analyst uses, but they have more strength when it comes to leveraging their business acumen in interpreting the results of the analytics. All right, so these are essential skills for a data professional, and I don't want to scare you, all right? You don't need all these skills. So I want to talk about all of them, but we are going to go down to see the ones that are important for different data professionals. All right, so the first one there is what we call the business skill. The business skill is the ability to understand any business workflow. You look at the business workflow, you're able to interpret it from the key performance indicators of that business. All right, and it also has to do with what we call requirement engineering. Requirement engineering is the ability to identify what people want from business perspective. So business skill also has to do with communication, ability to interpret analytics results in the context of the business. Then collaboration, because business units can be many. You have people in the HR unit, people in the marketing unit, people in the strategic unit, accountants and all that. You should be able to collaborate with people from different backgrounds. That is business skills. Okay, so we also have mathematical skills depending on the data role you want to engage in. You may need different levels of mathematics, from linear algebra to optimization to set theories to binary logic and probability. You don't need all of them, depending on the role you want to play. We are going to go down to talk about them at granular levels. All right, so we also have programming skill, ability to leverage scripting languages like Python, R, ability to use APIs and libraries, version control tools like Git, SQL. You don't need to know all this depending on where you want to pitch your tent. Then machine learning knowledge is important as well as a data professional, but at different scales. You may need to understand machine learning algorithms and be able to use them to identify the one that is suitable for any form of data you have. That is a fundamental knowledge any data analytics data professional needs. Okay, you should be able to leverage. Prompt engineering is also an important skill now when it comes to data professionals. Okay, so you also have visualization skill, ability to plot graphs, ability to build dashboards, ability to develop reports as well. These are important skills, are different skills for different data professionals. We also have knowledge of data architecture, knowing how to leverage, store huge amount of data, develop what we call ETR. The full meaning of ETR is extract, transform, and load. The process of getting raw data, maybe extracting data from Twitter, processing it in a way that will be suitable and storing it in a database. That is also an important skill within data architecture. Having knowledge of cloud platforms, data integration, database design, and data modeling. These are all things for someone that is interested in data architecture needs. So these are important skills, but as I said, as a data professional, depending on the role you want to play, these skills are required at different degrees for different data professionals. And we are going to look at that. Okay, and this is the summary of those. Okay, for a business analyst, the emphasis is in the business skill. You must have good knowledge of how to apply business understanding, how to elicit requirements, how to collaborate with different units of the business, and how to communicate effectively. Storytelling is very important for a business analyst. And also another thing that is important is visualization. A business analyst should be able to create dashboards, interactive dashboards, plot graphs and all that, because those will help you in storytelling. Very important. The mathematics requirement for a business analyst is not much. Okay, just simple logic. You should be able to understand this statement. If you are not a business analyst, then you are a data scientist. Something like that. Simple logical statements. You should be able to understand it. You should be able to understand simple set theory. When they talk about intersection between two things, you should know what that means. You know that it is something that is common between those two things. When they talk about union between two things, you should know that it is the combination of the two of them. Okay, because that helps you to combine tables in a way that helps in analytics. Okay, for a business analyst, that is the much mathematics you need. Then in terms of programming, you don't need too much programming. Okay, you should be able to write simple, have fundamental programming skill, like as I've said, understand what if-else statements mean. Understand how to use simple libraries, maybe write codes on Excel, codes on Tableau and stuff like that. We're going to dig deeper into these things. Then in terms of machine learning, you should have fundamentals of machine learning, because you are not developing any machine learning algorithm, but you should be able to apply them. You should, when you have data and you want to conduct some analytics, you should be able to tell whether the kind of algorithm that is suitable is supervised learning. I'm not going to spend time to talk about these things, or unsupervised learning, or reinforcement learning, or what are attributes. What kind of hyperparameters control your algorithm? Simple, basic machine learning algorithms. And I'm telling you that people are becoming successful in applying these things just in few weeks of looking at them, because they are easy to apply due to a variety of tools you can leverage to apply them. Okay. All right. That is for a business analyst. A data analyst has a similar requirement as a business analyst, only that they don't need the same level of business acumen that a business analyst needs. All right, so I think that should be able to summarize that. Business analyst is a data analyst with huge amount of business acumen. Okay, so a data scientist needs to be very solid in mathematics, because they are developing the algorithms. They are capable of developing new algorithms that is suitable to the business problems. They look at the kind of data you have, and there is no existing algorithm that could solve that data problem. They are capable of developing from scratch a new algorithm that will be suitable. Okay, so they need to have good understanding of mathematics. Their programming skill has to be advanced, because they should be able to write libraries, develop APIs. Also, their knowledge of machine learning should be advanced, because they should be able to talk about this algorithm from mathematical point of view. They know what objective function is. They know what cost function is. They can write optimization algorithms that will help to optimize these things. They need that deep knowledge of machine learning, mathematics, and programming. Data engineers, their emphasis is on data architecture, because what they do is they build the pipeline that collects data, clean that data, and store it to be ready for analytics. So because of that, they should be good programmers, they should have good knowledge of machine learning, and they should understand cloud architecture, big data technologies, database design in depth. So their emphasis is on data architecture, and they need high technical ability to be able to do that. Okay, so must have tools for each data professional. So we've talked about the range of skills these people have. Let us talk about tools. When it comes to visualization, a business or data analyst needs to have at least fundamental ability. So it doesn't mean that a business analyst may not want to learn Python or learn how to write code. You may want to do that. But what I want to show us are fundamental things you will learn, and you can say, I can apply for a job for this role. Okay? It does not mean that the data scientists may not want to learn other things. Okay, but these are things when you know them, you can say, I can now apply for a job for this role. The same thing is applicable for data engineers. So visualization is one of the processes as with one of the skills that they need. What kind of tools does each of these data professionals use in doing these activities? For a business and data analyst, visualization, they often use things like Tableau, Power BI, Excel. And it's not most that you will know Tableau and Power BI. They are kind of supplementary tools, basically. Okay, someone may want to know all of them because you want to expand your opportunity of getting a job. Because some businesses will say they want Tableau expert, some people will say they need Power BI expert, some people will say we need both of them, some will say we need an Excel expert. So someone that wants to expand their ability to get a job for a business or data analyst role may want to know all these three, but knowing one of them qualifies you to call yourself a data analyst, call yourself a visualization expert. So you may start by learning one of these tools for the visualization if that is what you want to do. If you want to be a data scientist, you must learn how to use libraries like Matplotlib, Plotly, Seaborn for Python, ggplot for R, or MATLAB, and you should be able to develop simple GUI for dashboard, interactive dashboard, okay, for a data scientist. And it's not a must that you must learn R and learn Python. You may specialize on one, which is Python. I am a Python developer, right? So I've not utilized R a lot. So whatever I want to do within data science, I prefer to do it in Python. Okay, all right. So for a data engineer, they should also be able to use libraries to plot graphs because they are also good programmers. So when it comes to machine learning application, for business and data analysts, they are not expected to have high programming skill. So there are tools that will help them apply these things without even understanding how to write them in codes. Things like RapidMiner, Worker, Autrix. All these are also supplementary tools. So if you know RapidMiner, you can use it to do what people can do with Autrix or Worker. If you know Worker, you can be able to do what people are doing with RapidMiner and Autrix. If you know Autrix, the same thing is applicable. But the ones that are kind of accepted mostly within the data marketplace are Autrix and RapidMiner. Worker is not all that known, okay? So, but I've used Worker at some point. We teach this RapidMiner within at RGU as well. So these tools, you can apply machine learning without understanding the mathematics. What you need to know are the fundamentals. You have data, you want to apply machine learning, you are capable of identifying the machine learning algorithm that is suitable for your data. You just get the library where it is, and you apply it with clicks of mouse, right? So you don't need to write any code, no scripting, nothing. You just apply these things. But for a data scientist, you need to know how to write this code, be able to write these things from scratch. If it's neural networks, you should be able to write the code from scratch that will do those things. You should also be able to leverage libraries that are already programmed to do them, like scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and all those libraries. Okay? You can also should be able to do the same if you are an R developer or a MATLAB developer. For a data engineer, see the same thing is applicable. Okay? Should be able to write these algorithms from scratch using scripting languages. Okay, so in terms of databases, because when a business employs you or hires you to work or do a data professional job for them, if it is a business that is well organized already, they have their data maturity is a bit up there, that means they must have a database. So what they may do is to give you access to their database and say, yes, all the data, we have it in the database. What you need to do is to be able to pull that data out and do whatever you want to do. So you need the ability to be able to communicate to that data. And what helps you to do that is SQL. And where I'm highlighting SQL here is because out of 100% of jobs in business and data analytics, people that use SQL or the demand for SQL will be 97%. The other 3% will be no SQL. So NoSQL are called document-oriented databases, while SQL are called relational databases. So which means they have to do with tables. And these are what you see mostly in practice. So it is advisable if you are interested in becoming a business and data analyst or data analyst, you should have good knowledge of SQL because that is the only way you can interact with your relational databases, which are more popular than the NoSQL. So for a data scientist, the same thing is applicable SQL and NoSQL. For a data engineer, they have to know more than that. They need the knowledge of web scraping because what do? They sit where they build a pipeline that collect data for a particular business and store that data for analytics. So they should be able to write a procedure using web scraping tool that can collect maybe from Twitter. You want to monitor news about your business from Twitter, or you want to monitor something about COVID-19 for maybe a body for World Health Organization. You should be able to write a script that collect everywhere COVID-19 is mentioned on Twitter or Facebook or news articles. You should be able to collect those from the internet and store it for that particular business for analytics. So they need the web scraping tool and they need understanding of cloud platforms because sometimes the data you want to store may be too big that you need to leverage the cloud. And maybe you are paying attention to security, you are paying attention to regulation, and you needed to use cloud platforms. So a data engineer needs more than SQL and NoSQL. They also need integration tools, data integration tools. They should be able to build what we call ETL, extract, transform, and load, that we collect data from different sources, filling them and put them together for the purpose of analytics. All right, so the last but not the least is programming requirement. For a business and data analyst, they need basic programming knowledge. Mustn't only be in Python, they may know how to do it in Tableau. In Tableau, there is an interface for writing simple codes, if-else statements, using functions. They should be able to do that. Within Power BI, there is also an interface for writing. They call it DAX. That is called Data Analytics Expression. Okay, they should be able to write, if you are a Power BI user, you should be able to write simple DAX to be able to combine data together and do further processing. These things are not extremely difficult like writing codes in Python and R. If you are an Excel user, there is a way of writing codes also to interact with your data within Excel. So you should know those basic things within the tool you are using as a business or data analyst. But if you're a data scientist, you need advanced programming skill in at least one of Python, R, or MATLAB. And you should have knowledge of version control using things like Git. And if you're a data engineer, you need intermediate programming skill, and you should be comfortable with command line interfaces. You see them working with Docker. Docker is called containerization tools. I don't want to dabble into these things. So if you have heard about DevOps, they should have some knowledge about development operations as well. Okay, so those are the things. And I think from what we are talking about, you should be thinking about where you can start. Okay, where you can start, but we are going to delve deep into those. So what next with all this information? What should we do with it? Okay, I think we should think of starting. If you are interested in becoming a data professional, your next thought should be to begin that journey of becoming a data professional. All right? And how do you begin? The first step, be specific. Which data professional do you want to become? Do you want to be a data scientist? Do you want to be a data analyst? Do you want to be a data engineer? You have to identify the data profession you want to venture into. Very important. And how do you start selecting that? You may want to go to where the money is. All right, so who pays the highest? And you earn more money when your skill requirement is higher. So someone that is a data scientist, the skill requirement is higher. So they obviously earn higher. Data engineers earn high as well, than business analysts and data analysts. So if that is your drive, you may want to pursue what is pays more, the most. Okay, or you want to be realistic with yourself, right? You have to maybe indulge in self-reflection, and this is what I always advise people. Okay, don't always go where the money is. Start where your strength is. Okay, so engage in self-reflection and identify where to start. And one of the tools that will help you in self-reflection is what we call SWOT analysis. All right, so SWOT analysis talks about your strength, your weaknesses. Those are things you are afraid of, really afraid of. Your strengths are what you are competent in already. Okay, your weaknesses are things you are scared of. Opportunities, what will you leverage to be able to acquire the skills you need? Then T stands for threats, which are the potential obstacles, things that could stop you from getting to where you want to get to. So I put in a table here which represents a SWOT analysis for somebody. This person is an expert in Excel, effective communicator, had a BSc in business management. Those are the person's strengths. Then weaknesses, this person is so scared of mathematics and programming, okay, struggles with all those, and opportunities, managed to live in a part of the world where he or she has access to strong internet connectivity. He has potential for internship, maybe has a friend that runs a data company, okay? And then he has a strong network of people that are into tech or software development or data science. Then we have T, his threat is that he's afraid of going back to school because of cost of training. And he doesn't have the time, he has a full-time job. And he has one bad habit. His bad habit is that he gives up easily. So this is the SWOT analysis of this person, which is a candid self-reflection of their competence, their fears, the opportunities they have, and things they are most worried about that could impede their ability to move forward towards becoming a data professional. If I miss this kind of a person, I'm sure you will agree with me that advising this person to venture into being a business analyst first, you agree with me that that would be a good advice. It would be a good advice. So in this case now, this person has business management, so he or she will not struggle with having the business acumen. That is already there. The person, I will not tell that person to start with data science because mathematics and programming is weak. Okay, the person is going to struggle. But starting from the area of their strength first, they can further develop into becoming, going into the next step of being a data scientist or a data engineer. So this is how I would advise you to think about where to start, okay, from a realistic point of view. All right, another thing someone may do may be to follow their passion. You may decide to follow your passion. So it doesn't matter what your background is. You may say, okay, it doesn't matter. I am going to be a data scientist or a data engineer. It doesn't matter. That's what I want to be. Nothing, a data scientist or nothing. Passion is powerful and can take you to that place if you add discipline to it. Okay, so step 2. After you have decided the path you want to follow, you need to identify how you want to learn those skills that we've mentioned. You may want to maybe get a degree, a master's degree in business analytics, okay? Or you want to undertake short courses in university. In a university, like RG, you run courses on business and data analytics for business decision making, which can be free for people living in Scotland, okay? Free for you and with a certificate. And there is a course also on data visualization, course in image data management that can be useful as well for you. So you may want to leverage those ones if you don't want to maybe get a degree. But one good thing about formal education is it is so organized that someone will give you everything you need to know about that particular data profession. And also, there is room for mentorship, and also you are more disciplined within it because there are deadlines that have been defined. And you go out, you leave the training with a certificate which gives you a leverage in terms of job application. So it is an advisable one, okay, to look at as well. But there are other routes, such as online courses. You may want to do courses on LinkedIn Learning. You may want to do courses using Udemy, using EDX, Udacity, Coursera. Those platforms will provide you resources to learn from. You may want to engage in certification courses that are hosted by companies such as Microsoft, Google. Google has what they call Google Data Analytics course as well, or IBM course and all that. Okay, you can leverage those. You can engage in boot camps. Boot camps are events where people come to learn a particular skill, often technical skills or tech skills. Okay, so what they do is this: they engage in real life practical projects. That project, you have someone that has knowledge of how to, that's an expert in that field, that will walk you through how to engage on that project from beginning to end. By the time you finish it, it could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be months. By the time you finish, you will have adequate knowledge to, practice within that field. That is boot camps. Okay. The next step after you have identified how, or maybe you've completed your learning, is to gain practical experience. Learning alone is not adequate. Even though you have done your assessments, when maybe within the university context, you've done your assessment and done all those things, they are not adequate. You have to go out there to engage in practical projects. Look for that project that you care about and work on it, okay? Or look for places for internship and attach yourself maybe 6 months or 3 months internship and see how these things are practiced in real life scenarios. You can engage in competitions. For example, we have cargo competition where data scientists, data analysts, data engineers engage in solving real world problems that involve data. You can be part of these kind of things. But what I'm trying to say is it is important to get your hand dirty. That will help to build your self-confidence. You will have the confidence that you are actually practicing within this field. Next thing is showcase your work. Have a portfolio of projects and achievements. These things you've done. Be able to say, I did this project, even when they are projects you define for yourself. Be able to say those. And have an online presence. Have a LinkedIn account. Have GitHub repository, especially when you're a data scientist or a data engineer, where you save some of your projects and you can point people to that. These are my projects. Or you have your personal websites. Be identified as a practitioner within that scope. You can also network and involve in communities, data community. For example, within Aberdeen, we have a data lab that hosts series of events that involve data. Be part of it. Code the city, Aberdeen data science and all that. And I know Shehu has a lot of some of this network that you can also be part of. Leverage those things and be part of this community. Very important. And then you can look for your next job, data professional job. You can apply for it. You design your CV, make it compelling, prepare for your interview. You can leverage YouTube. There are a lot of materials there that can tell you how to prepare for a data professional role, okay, interview. This is very important. It's not like every other thing. You have to know the kind of questions they will ask based on what you are applying for. If you're applying for a data analyst, another analyst role, it is a different question than someone that is going for a data scientist role. So you should know where you're headed to and prepare along that line. And then you have to overcome imposter syndrome. Don't allow anybody to tell you you're not capable. If you're not, don't allow yourself tell you that you're not qualified. If you've done all this, you will step up to a position where you can apply for that role and get a job. And then the data landscape is very dynamic. You must be willing to understand how the market is changing. Be willing to keep track of, of how the demands are changing. Upscale and rescale. Okay, up to today, I do online courses. I try to keep track to what is happening. It moves at a very fast pace. And if you don't do anything about yourself for 6 months, you come back, you are no longer there. Nobody looks for you anymore. So it is an ecosystem that is so fast. You have to keep with that pace. Keep learning, keep upskilling, keep reskilling. And familiarize yourself with how the market demand is changing. And that is how you're going to keep being relevant. This is very important. How long will this journey take? There is no specific answer. Okay, it all depends on your previous experiences, maybe IT experience, education background, personal commitments. So these are the contributors to how fast it can be for you. And it also depends on the learning routes. If you are taking the educational route, it is already well planned out. And you know that, okay, if you maybe start master's degree in business analytics in 1 year, you are a business analyst. At least you have the entry-level knowledge. Then when you are going for maybe self-learning, it is not well designed. It depends a lot on your commitment and self-discipline. So you have to think about those and decide what is best for you. And in conclusion, it's all about determination and hard work. You have to be willing to put in the work. It can't happen by mere wishing. Okay, if wishes were horses, I don't know how they say that, but it's very important to put in the hard work and make sure you are committed to becoming what you want to become. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you at the top. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that. So you make, I will ask some question, but there's somebody here. I want Adetayo Adeyemi to just give uh 2 minutes talk on data lab so that people can know that there are some opportunities what they can learn. Is Adetayo there? Yeah.
Yes, I am. Good evening, Brusham. Good evening, Dr. Ezenku. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you,
to
Ade.
talk to us again. It's lovely to see you again this evening. Well done, sir. This was very insightful. I'd
Thank you,
like to say
Ade.
a very big thank you first on behalf of Creed. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Adetayo for everyone. I'm sorry I can't come to my video at the moment. I didn't know Brashian was going to put me on the spot like this. And I currently work at the Data Lab, managing the Aberdeen and Dundee Innovation Hubs. And I have just finished my MBA Business Analytics at the University of Aberdeen as well. I graduate next week. And I can totally relate with everything Dr. Ezenku has taken us through this evening. So if you would like to, leverage some sort of foundational knowledge that you have from the university and you want to build on those skills, we support to train people around leveraging and driving value from data and AI. We will not teach technical skills, but we will top up technical skills or pair you or collaborate, get you to collaborate with people who will teach you the technical skills or help you to take those skills forward. So you're looking for employment, you already have the technical and the soft skills, or you've gone through our academy, we can also match you with the right organization for placement opportunities. So if there's any of that you think speaks to you, please feel free to reach out to me. And just to quickly add, when Dr. Ezeku was talking about boot camps and short courses on Creed platform, we have done some courses around visualization. Somebody has come to teach us how to use Power BI for visualization, and somebody has come to teach us about SQL and NoSQL databases. We did SQL databases, we did NoSQL, Mongo, Cosmo, and it took us through a bit of data modeling as well. I remember it taught us entities, attributes, and how to link the relationships. So I'm sure Brashian will share the links to where those videos are so that we can catch up if we missed it. Thank you again, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Thank you, Brashian, for the privilege.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, I want to. I'm just happy how God just helped us tonight because I didn't even know that Adetayo will be here this evening. So thank you, sir. So we now to open the floor. Please let's ask our questions. Let's ask questions. Anything that look as if vague or maybe confusing. I'm so happy the way Dr. Pascal broke everything down to pieces so that all of that. So can we have people to? I will only have slot for 4 questions. Someone send questions to me through my phone, so I will send. But let's have people here questions. No questions? Okay, let me read the one on my phone. Coming. Coming. Yeah, this person said, I've recently completed my studies in information technology, specializing in business intelligence. I've been trained in various fields such as data analysis, business analysis, and technical support during my academic tenure. Previously, I've worked as an administrative staff member where I handle some data analysis tasks. Post-graduation, I find myself torn between pursuing a career in data analysis or other related roles. Why I'm inclined toward data analysis, I feel the need to further the need for further study, as my academic knowledge might not be comprehensive enough for practical application. I'm genuinely passionate about this role, but currently feel unsure about the next steps to take in enhancing my skills. I'm seeking guidance and advice to navigate this career path effectively. Dr. Pascal, yeah, the career counselor now. Yeah, you are muted.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. So yeah, this presentation is not just for people who are about to step into the field of data science. It also includes people who are already there that are thinking of how to expand their scope and become more relevant. Okay, so yeah, good thing you're already within the field. You know what data is. You have knowledge of the fundamentals. Yeah, but you may want to look at your background. I talked about realistic evaluation of yourself, right? Realistic self-evaluation. Thinking about where you are, what your capabilities are, and what you want to do next. So if you look at those, you may think of whether you want to step up into data scientist role or data engineering. So there are a lot to play around within that field. And because you're already within the field, there is also a position of data management. Position of a data manager. A data manager is someone that is, in fact, the person sits at the top of the entire data pyramid, okay, data professional pyramid. And what they are capable of doing is they are capable of designing data strategy for businesses. So when a business want to have a framework, the kind of game they want to play with their data, what kind of data should we exploit? For what purpose? A data manager can sit down, look at the business requirement, look at where the business want to be in the next 10 years, and design a data strategy that will help that business to begin that journey. So, and that is the role of a data manager. You may want to exploit that, okay? Look at the possibility of having knowledge of strategic designs, decision making using data. How do you develop a governance framework, policies, and procedures that will help a business to achieve their long-term plan? And at this level, you're talking about business models, talking about business processes. How do you design a program that will take that business to achieve their mission and vision in the long run? So think about your capability, personal experiences, and where you want to find yourself, and identify where you want to play into, whether you want to move into becoming a data scientist. That means adding more to your current skills of business analytics, maybe expanding your knowledge of mathematics, statistics, adding more to your programming skill, or you want to move into a more strategic position, which is data management position, a position of a data management manager. And that involves understanding more from governance framework, how to develop policies, how to design procedures, and understanding about business strategies. Business strategies, very important. Understanding how you can incorporate that in data framework or data governance framework designs. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So can we have two questions? Please, let's ask questions because honestly, I feel bad. I felt should be the first event we should have had before jumping to data analytics that we don't even know all of that. But again, we thank God for how God is helping us. So let's ask questions. Let's ask questions. We only have less than maybe let's say 7 minutes to go. All of that. Okay. Sir, Brashia, what's up? Over to you, sir. You can mute yourself, sir.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much, Brother Pascal, for your time. Sorry, I was on the road listening to your presentation. I thought I would be in my house with my big screen and be able to, but at least I was able to gain a lot. And this morning too, I was trying to brainstorm between data engineering, data analyst, data, and just the way you dissolve those things. The information was so clear to me and better now. But my question is this. I have a job. I'm going to the office 8 to 4 in the evening daily. And I'm looking towards a situation where in the future, one will be like working by the side and use this data analysis and stuff as a tool to be able to develop other things and assist other people because of my background in quality engineering, which has some similarities with some of the analysis, the algorithm you're talking about, and be able to process data and come up with some values that will be required to form a model that you need for. So I'm looking towards the possibility of working, I don't know, working and also be able to sit down and learn 1 or 2 programming languages. Like I'm working on Python, and I know there are some other languages, but the time is really very difficult for me to put together, but I'm trying. What advice will you give to me? Is it possible to discuss with other people that are in this field and be able to partner with them so that they form like a drive for me to work faster and be able to pick certain skill? Or I should just leave that for the programmers and concentrate on some other areas that could be of benefit and, you know, partner with other people to do this? What advice will you have for someone in this frame? I've looked at the SWOT analysis you mentioned. I know it's going to work, but I just want you to advise me personally.
All right. It will be difficult to be specific about what you want to do, because I think it should be your decision to decide. Because when there are constraints, especially when it has to do with time and all that, you have to really be the one to decide about it. So, but it's all about passion, really. Okay, trying to learn. So, someone like me, I'm a lifelong learner. I learn a lot. So, if you go to my LinkedIn page, you will see that I have many certifications, small courses I'm doing. I have other ones that I'm running. I try to create that time because I need to do them. If I don't do them, it will be difficult at some point because the data ecosystem will leave you behind. It moves so very speedily. So and you have to say it's an environment where you need to learn. So if you understand it from that perspective and you think about where you want to be in the future, you can think of a way to incorporate that into your plans. Maybe it has a lot to do with time management than just than me just advising you. You may think about it. Maybe you think about incorporating programs when it is suitable in the weekends, learning these things. If you think that Python is going to be strategic in where you want to get yourself in a few years to come in terms of your career, if you see it as extremely important, I think you should think of a way of incorporating that into your plan. So it's more from your side than advice from me. I think we've tried to talk about these things from realistic point of view. If you identify them as being important, something that will give you more opportunities, you can look at your threats in terms of a SWOT analysis and look at a way to go around them. If time is the problem, how do you manage that time? Okay, so identify how to manage the time. Maybe you have to learn more about time management. There are short courses too that will teach you time management. Maybe you have to understand how best to leverage your time and do more learnings. But it's very important. I advise everyone to make sure you have that learning plan in anything you are doing, because that's how you keep being relevant, especially in this part of the world, the UK, where technology adoption is high. Unlike in Nigeria or other parts of the world, it may not be at this pace here, like what we have in the UK. So if you are in the UK, it's very advisable that you keep at the top of what you are doing. That is what will help you to remain relevant. Right.
Yes,
And
sir.
that may not have answered that question very well, but that's the best
Thank
from
you.
me.
But I will still get in touch with you and see if we could talk more. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? So the only one question I want to ask as we're talking, Is it possible to have, and I think Anita will like agree with what I'm saying. Is it possible to have like a data data tech startup or data business, like a business that is built? I don't know, because sometimes I know that data analyst roles are there as in form of job, looking for jobs. But what about people who study this data stuff in school? I don't know. How can they turn? How
Yeah,
can they form a
there are a lot of businesses that are based in helping startups that are based in helping businesses to get value from their data, right? Okay, there are a lot of startups of that. There, there are people that their own is what they specialize in is trying to evaluate a business. That's what we call data readiness index. You look at a particular business, you want to measure how prepared are they to leverage data. Because one problem we have is I have talked with business owners. They have big visions, what they want to achieve using data, but they are not prepared enough for it. So their businesses, what they do is to evaluate a particular business and tell them, for you to be able to achieve what you want to achieve with data, this is what you need to do. You need to, first of all, have the data infrastructure. You have to build the data literacy of your employees. You have to do this. So there are businesses that offer data consultancy, there are startups that offer this kind of thing. Okay, prepare businesses to be able to be data ready. Yeah, so a lot of startups do that.
Yeah, thank you very much. So that I asked that question because I don't know much, so that it can also open the eyes of our attendees, not only alone to seek for jobs alone, if there are also the route where they can also, because I was in one event, opportunities event, and there's the group called the Knowledge Bank. And so if you want to start any company, you go there to get data. And I asked one of the speakers there, uh, the founders of startup want to do something like Greek now, and we need some data and market research out of that. How are they going to process those data from that market research? And when they were talking, I found that they actually problem even so they actually need someone to do. But again, I just don't know. That's why I asked. So I think Sarita
that's
also
an
asked.
excellent
Yeah,
question.
I just wanted to add to what Dr. Ezenku said. So there are two broad ways because we work in helping businesses and individuals drive value from data AI. And there are two broad ways that you can generate value from data. You can monetize data. So a lot of websites that you visit that track and mine your data actually sell that data to other companies. So companies that want to do sentiment analysis, they are in retail, they need to have some sort of information about you. Go somewhere to buy your data. So they understand you and they can market or target you or segment you in selling their products. So that's one way. So if you have a large database, you can monetize it and sell. Another way to drive value from data is consulting for businesses on how they can derive some sort of insights and optimize performance from their data. So a lot of business collate data. There are thousands of data sets, and every interaction you have is a data point. And there are several businesses that have those, they don't know what to do with it. And you can then start a small company that consults for these businesses on how to have a data strategy. So, how do they align the data that they have? How do they get some sort of value from it in alignment to the overall business objectives? So, that's another area where, because we have a lot of freelance and small companies here that are already making money from data. So there's a lot of, and there's a vast opportunity there because whilst we talk about data, a lot of people still don't have an understanding of what it really is or what to do with it or how to use it. So that's another area that you can generate some sort of revenue. So instead of looking for a job as a data professional, as a whatever, you can take those courses that help you better understand how to drive value from data and start to consult for businesses on what to do with their data.
Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you. Honestly, I'm happy. At least everybody have learned a lot what data is, the roles, the learning part, all of that. I think we have no question at all. Sir, I want to thank you tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring our event tonight. We just as what Sarita have said, we normally record our event. We know some people have gone for work, all of that, but again, we keep moving. So our past event is on Creed Abadi YouTube channel. You can go and watch all of that. And please, in case you have any question for the guest speaker, I will have to take permission from him before I release your number, because we're in the UK where everybody is busy. So, but I will only direct any question to him if it's something that this class did not cover. But if this class cover it, there's no need to be looking for people all up and down. So thank you very much, sir. We do pray that God continue to increase you. Thank you so much for all our attendees. Let me see. Is there anybody who ask question? Okay. Just want to check the chat. Okay. Okay. Mr. Pet say outstanding breakdown the Pascal. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much. Please let's stay safe. It's getting to winter time now. Everywhere is cold. Thank you very much, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, Dr.
sir.
Pastor.
Thank you, Brosheun. Thank you.